All right. What is up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the
Yeah,
Random
what's up?
Encounter. I just noticed that too. Yeah. Welcome to episode 57 of the Random Encounter podcast. I'm your host, James, and I'm joined by Ash Destroyum,
Hey, what's up, guys?
Big Mike,
Hey,
Phaneckswhy,
What
hey,
up?
Mike.
and our special random encounter for today, the man, the best from the West, Mr. TheGeakShow.
Good, everybody.
How's it going, Geek? How you doing, man?
Hot, man. It's hot.
I hear you.
It's hot out here.
We're all from down here in Florida, and yeah, that 100-degree weather daily is kind of not doing it.
It's been feeling a little better.
A little bit after the hurricane, it kind of like cool
Oh,
air has been
man.
coming through.
Shoot, I had to mow the yard today. It was torture, 90 degrees outside.
Yeah.
At least you didn't have to take a probability and statistics exam.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'd rather sweat in the heat for an hour than do that.
But we got a bunch of stuff to talk about today because Nintendo Direct rumors are ramping up, and it seems like we might get a Nintendo Direct this week. We're also going to talk about RPGs because everyone here loves RPGs. Without RPGs, I don't feel like gaming will be where it's at today. We're going to talk about pretty much RPGs that changed the industry, as well as some memorable RPGs that nobody really talks about. I got a good choice, and I think nobody here is going to choose that one there. But as always, before we get into that, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. We are trying to hit 500 subscribers. We're so close. We're sitting at 414 subscribers last time I checked. So as always, if you like what we do, share the channel. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Every subscriber helps out. And yeah, definitely. Well, let's go ahead and start off real quick with what we've been playing. Actually, no, before we start off with what we've been playing, Geek, introduce yourself. Who are you? Where you came from? And what do you do?
I'm a content creator on too many platforms because it's only one me. I'm the artist formerly known as Geek, but a lot of people have Geek. Geek is an acronym for Games, Entertainment, Anime, and Comedy, which I thought was going to be, I just thought in my head a few years ago when I started YouTube and this social media journey that, yeah, that's clever. I can talk about all of those things, but no, you can't. And so recently, I changed my name to The Geek Show because in what was it, 2019? I think it was 2019. Ubisoft shadow banned me when I was getting ready to stream where Tifa and everybody came out on. What was that? Final Fantasy 7R, FF7R during 2019 E3, I think it was. They shadow banned me for, I think, because I showed the Watch Dogs. So I ran to Twitch real quick, which I already had an account, and that account was The Geek Show. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to change them all across the board. Recently, I've doubled down on mostly 80% RPGs because that's the bread and butter. It's no game to me personally like an RPG, which I was agreeing with you, James, earlier. You just said it is RPGs. You didn't say it this way. I'm paraphrasing it. Are the backbone of any console. If you go back all the way back, every console that was really great had a really great library of role-playing games.
I agree.
The moment they start weaning away from that, it feels like, because we're diehard. We'll buy the DLC, we'll spend 100 hours on a game, and then go back and replay it. The amount of time that I've replayed just recently, Persona 5 and Fire Emblems or Chrono Trigger, it's Final Fantasy VII in all its iterations. But I'm a Los Angeles native. I just got through watching my Rams win, thankfully. And it's hot out here too. But yeah, that's it. That's it for the most part. So I'm an enthusiast of anime, sports, entertainment. I wanted to make something that was, because I think it's the difference between geeks and nerds.
Mm-hmm.
And geeks, we kind of like are more into pop culture, like knowing, multiple facets of things rather than just, narrowing down and geeking out on one particular.
I relate nerds to Star Trek. for some reason. It's just how my
Yeah.
brain compartmentalizes stuff. Because you know what I mean. Just like every time I hear nerd, I'm like Star Trek.
Yeah.
Like,
And then a geek is
Oh.
Star Wars. See?
yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I got that. I get you there. Yeah, that makes sense. So what happened? So you played what, Watchdog? Like what was it, like a like the game
trailer?
or a trailer
It
or
was the
what?
trailer. Yeah.
Okay.
E3
What?
that's when they had that trailer. And then they did it too by 4 or 5 other people too. They shadow banned Player Essence.
What?
Obi-Wan Plays at the time, Spawn Wave, but he was still, in 200K at that time.
Yeah.
So they kind of like, it was the numbers. But I just, that's when I decided I'm not going to stream on YouTube anymore because I didn't like that. Plus, I liked the fact to divvy up my, the revenue and everything.
Yeah.
But I didn't like the fact that they could have, which Twitch could do it too, have so much power just to shut me down like that. And I brought up Tifa because, well, that's my baby, and then also because I mean, I was scrambling last minute. That's like, this is E3, we all here, right?
Mhm.
And you scrambling last minute because you got a shadow ban from weak ass Watch Dogs 2 that nobody talks about anymore. And I couldn't even see comfortably like FF7R when everybody was talking about it and everything. I'm like, what? Well, what? I'm trying to get in. So it was just me, myself, and I. And, in the chat. I mean,
Wow,
they just shut me down.
that's whack. I did not know that. That's good to know. I did not know that happened, actually. That's crazy. Man.
Yeah, that sucks.
I guess we shouldn't stream Ubisoft games because we gotta be worried about them doing that. Some shady stuff like that. Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, I do want to show everybody something you did that to me I thought was amazing. Like the first time I saw this trailer, I was like, this is amazing. Like this guy's got something, and I think this is gonna go somewhere. All of us here, I think except for Ash, grew up in the Toonami era where Toonami first came about.
I did too. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about when it first started. I'm not talking about Toonami with Naruto. I'm talking about Toonami where it was just like DBZ,
Dragon Ball,
Gundam Wing,
When they
Rurouni
weren't even on a ship
Kenshin.
yet, bro. Like
Yeah.
when the dude was still on the planet. You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
we
Like,
got the Space Ghost
What's his
villain,
name?
Mortar or whatever.
Space
Okay.
Yeah.
coast to coast.
Yeah, I'm talking about that Toonami, But for the most part, we all grew up on Toonami, and Toonami was a big part of our lives because, you hate it or not. I think everybody loved it, but you cannot deny that Toonami is what brought anime to the U.S. specifically. Without Toonami, we would not be where we're at. Especially without Dragon Ball, we would not be where we're at. Hence Ash and his DBZ shirt. I got my Majin Buu shirt. Look at my Kid Buu. Like, I got all that. Basically, what the Geek Show has done is he created something called Archives, which, correct me if I'm wrong, Geek. It's basically Toonami, but for video games, where he has 12 hours of games. He created custom intros and custom endings. He has like commercial breaks in between it, where the commercial breaks are his avatar was, what was the name of the avatar again? Akasha. Where that comes up and will like say some words and stuff like that. Has like mini like kind of like shout outs of ads of other content creators that's like teamed up with the Geek Show, which also appreciate you willing to put something for us together, so we can put on there as well. Really appreciate that. And it's amazing. So basically every hour is a different game. They each have an episode title too, which was pretty cool. And he like cuts it out. There's an ending, and then the next episode, right, or the next show will start, which would be a different game. And it's the coolest thing ever. But the trailer he made is very Toonami. I'm gonna go ahead and play that. If you guys can, have the stream up so you can listen to it, because the music, you have to listen to the music, the words, and everything, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Give me a minute to switch scenes here. And hold up a sec. Where the heck's my browser? So I got too many things open. I need a third monitor. All right, let me know when you guys are ready so you guys can listen to it, so we can all listen to it together. You guys ready? All right, let's start it.
The Geek Show's bringing back your Saturday.
So then, what can I get you?
12 hours That's right, 12 hours
Tank is 040. You monsters!
of pure, unadulterated role play.
Time to train the disciple.
Starting at noon, Live a Live with Live a
Tell me,
Live.
you happy with your limelight?
Followed by Xenoblade 3.
How are you excite me?
Triangle Strategy weighs in at 2.
Scales of conviction will illuminate the path we've chosen.
Fire Emblem 3 Houses at 3.
Well then, I guess it's up to me to guide you.
Valkyria Chronicles checks in at 4.
You'll be leader of Squad 7 now.
Man,
Then Octopath Traveler 2 at 5.
there's no need for flattery.
Star Ocean 6 launches at 6.
Captain's orders. Evacuate immediately.
Lost Odyssey at 7.
Wait, let go, my throat!
Forspoken kicks off the nightcap at 8.
You, the one talking to me right now, are this cuff?
Final Fantasy XVI gets summoned at 9.
I'd heard rumors that you'd survived, but I never paid them much heed.
Stranger of Paradise at 10.
Darkness veils the world. 4 warriors of light shall come.
Yakuza Like a Dragon closes out the night at 11. The most role-playing games on Saturday outside of Japan.
Right.
Wow, you face a night of terror!
Lights out for a minute, all right?
And here you thought it was safe to go outside.
There's such a thing as playing too hard to get.
Archives, Saturdays from noon to midnight.
All right, you guys cannot tell me that's not one of the coolest things you've ever seen.
That's pretty dope. Do you
Pretty cool.
pre-record everything and then like put it on there, or is that you live streaming?
I couldn't hear you.
Do you pre-record everything and put it on there, or is that you live streaming?
I pre-record everything.
Okay,
Pre-record it.
I was about to say that's a lineup if you're actually playing that live.
My computer, I would like to,
Yeah.
but my PC, she can't do it. Can't do it right now. That's my dog barking.
That's a really good intro. You should show that to Steve Bloom.
Yeah, you might. Yeah, that's true. You should share it. He might love that, how he did the voice of Tom and everything. But like when I first saw that, I was like, that is one of the coolest concepts I've seen. And watching, I was like, man, like this is something. And then yesterday I tuned in while he was doing the premiere. So like he says, he pre-recorded it and then he put it on as a premiere on YouTube, and it just kind of goes straight through. And like it was amazing. Like I walked in. I'm trying to think what you were playing when I fully was able to watch. I think it was Valkyria Chronicles you were playing there, and then I just kept watching through. And as I got through, I started seeing everything. I was like, man, it feels so Toonami. Like the nostalgia hit me hard. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stay here for the rest of the day. So I stood there for the most part until I was tired to go to sleep. But yeah, for everybody watching, like definitely watch it. Every Saturday he's doing it. It's premiering. Highly recommend it. Here's another video that I wanted to share, which I thought was pretty funny here that he did about role playing, because today's topic is about role playing, our main topics rather. So I'm playing it without actually showing it. Give me a second to switch. And if you guys want to hear this, and this is a callback. I'm trying to remember what is a callback to. I just don't know exactly what it is, but we'll play this
I'm not
first.
gonna say it yet.
Yeah.
I'll let you play it and then.
All right.
Chocobos in the sky. I thought they couldn't fly. Grab the sticks, some tips and tricks. We're role playing.
Is that Reading Rainbow?
Yeah, that's Reading Rainbow.
Anyone in an RPG, don't be nasty. We're role playing. I can go anywhere. Acting on ATB, still an RPG. We're role playing. Role playing. Role playing. Role playing.
That was amazing. I thought it was Reading Rainbow, but I was like, I'm not too sure. Like, I don't remember if that was Reading Rainbow. So I'm glad I was right on that.
That's Reading Rainbow for sure.
That's Reading Rainbow.
Yeah.
Less.
You should have.
That was definitely Reading Rainbow.
I can just see. For some reason, I was just waiting for how like in Mortal Kombat they had the little dude that pops out of the screen. They go like, "Whoop."
Yeah.
I was just like waiting for like Jordan LaForge just like pop out.
I actually did that I did a Final Fantasy the top 10 worst Final Fantasy characters, and Shaz was in my opinion, number 7. And I had this dude come out and he did guilty, but he had super soakers in his hand like this. It was a black dude in so shorts and he was like this because that's what. And then I put it because that's what Shaz was to me. Is like I didn't like it. Did it like he's Michael Jackson every time he's bro. So I was like, just like Michael Jackson, guilty. I thought it was funny.
Oh man, what's up, Shu? Welcome to the podcast. Hey, you gotta watch the archives trailer that I played earlier. If you didn't catch that already, definitely recommend watching that. But yeah, no, like as far as like video editing and the way you've done everything, it's amazing work, man. Like huge props. Like I say this like from the bottom of my heart, man. You got something going on. Like keep doing it. This is awesome. I'm definitely gonna share with everybody because I think archive specifically, that's the one thing that hit me right in the heart. I was like, oh man, this is like Toonami for games. And you explained you know when you were describing it to me, you're like, yeah, I wanted to make Toonami, but for video games, and it's all that nostalgia that we had. I was like, that is the coolest thing that I've seen. Nobody has that concept. Keep rolling with it. I will definitely tune in every time to help you out, and of course I'll spread the word for sure, because I think it's one of the coolest things. And if you want some voiceover for some next time, I'm available. I'll go ahead and I'll do my Kyle Herbert impressions of his next time on Dragon Ball Z. I'll do something like that. So, but yeah, awesome. But let's start talking about some RPGs and industry changing RPGs, because like we were saying earlier, RPGs are definitely something that without RPGs, I don't think gaming would be where they are today. If you look at games such as Assassin's Creed, Spider-Man, right? All those games have RPG elements to it. And slowly, little by little, all these games are just adding more RPG elements. And, that's cool. But there's something about like RPGs specifically that are special. I didn't get into RPGs till about, I want to say 1998, maybe. Somewhere around there, 8 or 9. I remember when I first tried Final Fantasy VII, it was at a GameStop, and I went to try it out, and I was like, wow, this game sucks. Like I can't attack, I can't move. I was used to games like Zelda and more action-based games, so I just like dismissed it right away. And then a friend of mine was like, hey, you gotta try out this game. It's cool. It's like an anime but in video game form. I was like, anime in video game form? What do you mean? He's like, yeah, it has an awesome story. It's fun. It's more strategic. He lends me Breath of Fire 4, and that was my introduction to RPGs. And ever since then, I fell in love with RPGs. Love it a lot. It literally, like, I mean, I'm playing Sea of Stars right now. Amazing RPG. Tactical RPGs, I love. All types of RPGs. And I just think, like, oh, man, RPGs are just special. But let's talk about RPGs that kind of change the industry or even the genre. Like, what are some RPGs that you feel change the genre? Let's start with you. Geek, what do you think what RPG specifically do you think has changed the game?
I'm not gonna go with my favorite game. I'm not even gonna say it. I'll just leave it there. You already mentioned it, so and since you gave me the floor, I'm gonna go with the most overrated game and the most hated, but I think personally it's still the best in the series, and that's Final Fantasy VII. I've gotten into so many debates about this because I started playing in 95. Nintendo sent me a VHS of Super Mario RPG.
Oh,
Like,
nice.
what does RPG mean? I don't understand it, but and Mario and in the game, it just resonated with me. So after that, I was kind of just like didn't know what it was, but I was hooked. Then fast forward, a friend loaned me all these RPGs one summer. I think it was the summer of 96. A shoebox. I just moved, and he comes over. He goes, "Here, Clanton, you can use them." And I was like, "I'm not used. This is a new area. I mean, I'm from LA. I'm not used to nobody out here. We don't share like that. Like, I'm being real. We ain't nobody about to give you $400 worth of games. That's the valley for you." But anyway, fast forward, I got thirsty for them RPGs. I finally knew what they were after playing. I'm not going to mention any of the games because they might be on y'all list. But some of these games, and so I was ready for Final Fantasy VII. I was there when it happened, and the debate always had with a lot of people. I was like 12, 13, 14 when it dropped. around there. So I was conscious enough to understand the story, the plot, and the ramification what was happening inside of the story. It started because Cloud, even though some other people had done it before, but the spiky hair and the big swords, they're still doing that today. That like originated with Cloud. The tragic, the two-way love, the love triangle. How many games have tried to do that? Even in their same genre, has tried to do that. It was the first game with for PlayStation that had the FMVs, the full motion video, and then it also, I was talking about that earlier to somebody. They did the Xenogears kind of perspective before Xenogears, where certain areas you would be like real small, and then when you go to a bigger area, it would shrink down the whole map and everything. From the characters to the story, to the fact that Square Enix hasn't, made a game Final Fantasy 11, not counting 14, at it's better than it in sales wise. So that's why they're just milking this dry. It will be 7 for me. 7 like revolutionized the way we look at like how like it kind of like how you said about Toonami.
Yeah.
It made people, it put RPGs on the map. Like
Right.
there were other great RPGs. 6 was good too, but when 7 came at that right time for PlayStation during 97, was it September 7th, 97, I think it was, when it dropped during that time. I remember I traded Bugs Bunny's Rabbit Rampage, Maximum Carnage, the red
Maximum
copy,
Carnage, good game.
Spectre Man, Booger Man, a controller, and I still had to pay $30. And I didn't have a memory card. I got all the way to freaking Reno without a memory card, and then he put me in the pyramid, and I didn't understand what I needed to do, so I had to go trade some more stuff to get a memory card.
I mean, I'm not gonna argue with that. I 100% agree that I think Final Fantasy VII is the Toonami of RPGs. Because a lot of people that have fond memories of RPGs think of Final Fantasy VII, and I agree. Like after I played Breath of Fire 4, later on the second game I played, or it might have been the third. Might have been the second or third was Final Fantasy VII. It's either Final Fantasy VII or Legend of Dragoon. But eventually I played Final Fantasy VII and fell in love with it, and like the music, Uematsu and his music just hits hard. Like I can't tell you, like my nice quiet time, or if I have a song that's my thinking song, it's usually like it's a combination of Final Fantasy VII songs that show up. If I go into when I go to work, usually what's playing is Under the Pizza, what is it called? Under the Pizza Dome or something like that. Wow, what's it called? I forget what it is. But the one where Don Corleone's area is, that's usually the song that's playing. But yeah, no, I can't argue with that. Does anybody else argue with that?
No, it is one of the ugliest games though.
Yeah,
Like,
it
mechanics
was.
wise for sure. Like yeah, like it was
Popeye
ugly,
arms, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you compare it to Final Fantasy VIII, like it's a night and day
Yeah.
difference between the two.
Yeah.
Same console too.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, for me, Final Fantasy VII wasn't like my gateway into it, so
I can see it. I don't
I can see it
necessarily
for
play
other
but-
people. For me, it wasn't. But
Yeah.
I can see it for other people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at it like it's so important that Square Enix remade it, and that's the way you look at it. Like it was important enough that Square Enix was like, we got to totally remake it. We're trying to make it special again.
'Cause
Yeah.
It had the most weeb like main character and villain. That's why it's so popular. Because it resonated with RPG fans and it resonated with anime fans. So you have two fan
Weeb,
bases.
emo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like 'cause you literally have like a edgy main character, and then you have like goth
Yeah.
villain. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
agree.
I think what pushed the remake was because they had that tech demo.
Well, that is
Remember?
true. The PS3 tech demo also made
Yeah,
people like,
they
we
had the
want a
tech
remake. We
demo.
want a remake.
Yeah. And
But
that really pushed it.
But it's a lot more, right? Like Cloud being in Kingdom Hearts, then you got Crisis Core, which is probably one of the best, if not the best PSP game out there, which they also remade that. Like, but I agree with that. Like, it is the most anime of Final Fantasy. Zack is literally a Shonen Jump character. Like the way he acts and everything.
Other RPG, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
What other RPG have they, as even in Final Fantasy,
Mhm.
that has been mimicked as much as Final Fantasy VII? It's just, even if it's too much, it's
Yeah.
just it's out there.
Yeah.
It's like at one point, and I think that it gets unfair. Like when it dropped, literally, when it dropped, it was like the Star Wars of freaking
Yeah.
Final Fantasies. Like I was spoiled. The same dude that gave me. I'm sorry, I had to throw that in there. The same dude that let me borrow all the games.
Yeah.
I like to make love to my RPG. I was taking time. He beat it in a couple days. He was pissed that I was playing it like 3 weeks or so. So he came and told me, was sipping on a Pepsi. You know what? Harris dies. So this is before, this is 97. I mean, I had to go to school for the internet. So that hurt. So
Yeah. Oh man.
Back when
they still had
guides
that
were a
story
thing.
there too.
That was one of the things it did do first, is killing off like a main
Main
character.
character,
Like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
That got me angry too because I had leveled her up like high. She was one of my main characters, and when she died, I was like, "What? Like, who am I gonna now put as my healer?" And then I believe with that too is you could not get all the equipment you had on her, so you lost all the material that was equipped on her. Anything that you equipped on her was gone. I was like, "This is so stupid." At least in like newer RPGs, now they unequip that stuff and put it back in your inventory. But like, I remember I was so angry that all my stuff was gone because of that.
Not in Sea of Stars.
Yeah, and Sea of Stars they unequip it too.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
What?
Yo, like that game's still new, bro. Like,
No, it's
chill.
early in the game. It's just when one of the characters become unusable for a while. You
Yeah.
have access to none of their equipment.
I could have sworn I did, but you might be right.
No.
Yeah, it's not that's not a spoiler. It's
Yeah, that's not a spoiler.
There's
it was very annoying mechanic.
Yeah. All right, let's go with you, Ash. What to you is an industry changing RPG?
Skip it for now. Go to straight for a fan or Mike.
Okay.
I don't have a good answer right now.
All right, let's go with Mike. I want to see what Mike has to offer.
Yeah, it'd be interesting what Mike says.
I think I know what Mike's gonna pick. I think I know, but let's see.
Just say it first.
You're gonna choose. Let's see, because you just because you asked me, does it have to be JRPG? I think you're gonna choose Skyrim.
Oh yeah, I am.
See, I knew it because the minute you asked that, I was like, Mike's gonna choose.
I was gonna think that or like Red Dead Redemption 2
or Oblivion.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like Elder Scrolls and Fallout. I was actually gonna initially say Witcher 3, but I changed my mind.
Yeah.
Just because Elder Scrolls and like Fallout's pretty much the same game, just in different universes.
Yeah.
But it, even when it was like a isometric like style game, it still revolutionized like the way people played isometric games because the dialogue options and the stuff that you could actually do in the game. And then when they dropped Morrowind, that game by itself was great. But then you have the community support and the mods, and then it just makes it so much more immersive. Like it's an actual RPG in the sense of what RPG is supposed to be. Like you're role playing as whatever you want to be, and you're like in this world and you're like exploring. And I feel like all like the Elder Scrolls and Fallout games with community support or like without community support, you could like immerse yourself and play as an actual like RPG. The Fallout 4 kind of sucks, but like other than that, like I think they did a great job with Starfield on like the dialogue options and like the interactions between characters. The stories aren't the best, but you know what I mean, it's still like an immersive like role playing game.
Yeah. And I won't argue with that. Like, everybody here knows I'm not a big Bethesda fan. I've tried my hardest like not to be, or not hard. I try my hardest to get into Bethesda games. But
I tell everybody, man, if you've only played Elder Scrolls games or Fallout games with 0 mods, then you've never actually played the games.
Yeah.
Because the mod support is what makes those games from like just good to like incredible. You know what I mean? Like not only like the texture mods and stuff like that, but there's mods where it adds new areas, new quests. You know what I
Wasn't
mean? Like RPGs, weapons. It's crazy.
There's a game that wasn't it originally a Elder Scrolls Skyrim mod and it became its own separate game? Like Forbidden something?
Oh yeah, Forbidden City.
Okay, yeah. I remember hearing that. I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, now they're like working on like a Sky Oblivion mod to where it like does Oblivion and Skyrim like as one map.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
And that whole project is part of making every part of what is it, Tamriel? I think like the whole big continent like one like open map you can explore.
Yeah.
So just the community support on it. You could go back right now and play Oblivion and Morrowind with mods, and it's like pretty much like a new AAA game. You know what I mean? Because it has new quest lines, new NPCs, and everything like that.
Yeah. No, and I definitely don't argue with that. And like I said, I feel like, without Skyrim specifically, we would not be at this next stage of RPGs, which is like honestly, without Skyrim, I don't think we would have Breath of the Wild. That's
It was
fact.
definitely the first of its kind when it
Mhm.
dropped. Like everything you could, a lot of stuff you could do in that
Yeah,
game. And a lot of people have imitated it or like, you know what I mean, try to do
emulated it.
something to,
Yep. Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, I would say more emulate than imitate. Like emulate's
yeah,
kind of like do what they have but try to make it their
yeah,
own. Um,
yeah. There's a bunch of games out there
yeah,
like that.
Dragon's Dogma was not afraid to say that. They said that, hey, we want to be Skyrim but Japanese, and I like Dragon's Dogma mainly because the combat is better than Skyrim. Like that's
And,
what I liked about Dragon's Dogma.
yeah, and you got to remember Morrowind, like,
Hmm.
was like one of the first to do it too, like in the way that it did it, like because Morrowind is way, way, way more immersive than Oblivion and Skyrim. Like it's harder to play. There's no quest markers. So you literally have when you play Morrowind, you literally have to read your quest logs
Yeah.
and it'll be like vague ass descriptions. It'll
Oh
be like
man.
at the third rock,
Oh
take a
god.
right, go straight. You know what I mean? Like and you have to like read it like a map, dude. Like
Man, no thanks. I don't got time for that now. Like maybe when I was a kid, yeah.
yeah.
Uh, see, Shu says when I play Dragon's Dogma, I feel like playing Monster Hunter but Dark Souls. Yeah, that's true. Well, I don't know about the Dark Souls, but it does have some Monster Hunter Souls in it. I mean, it is Capcom too. Well, I guess Monster Hunter Souls, right? Like, I guess Dark Souls, right? No. Uh, all right, fan. What is your pick?
Oh, so Geek already said Final Fantasy, so I'm gonna pick a different game from a different series
Yeah.
or IP. So I'm gonna say Secret of Mana for me.
Okay.
Just because when you play RPGs, right, back in the day, a lot of it was just single player,
Yeah.
right? It was just you, turn based, until they, went with more action turn based. And Secret of Mana was one of the very few like RPG games at the time during the Super Nintendo where it was multiplayer. You could play up to 3 people, so it was one of those where like I could sit there play with my cousins instead of just sitting in the room just watching them play, which can get boring. So
Yeah.
it's one of the few that brought that mechanic of multiplaying RPGs, which eventually spread out to like other brands. Like the Tales series was another that I remember playing on the PS1, which is very memorable because that's multiplayer too. It's just more linear in terms of the battle system. But for me, Secret of Mana would be another IP that just kind of changed the role playing scape.
Yeah. I would say, yeah, I agree with that because
I like
Secret of
Dark
Mana
Cloud.
is, I mean, now that I think about it, it's probably one of the very first action RPGs. I mean, there was like Tales of Destiny, or not Tales of Destiny,
Tales of
Fantasia.
Destiny came after.
Fantasia. Yeah. Okay. Tales came after?
Yeah.
Okay. What about the first Star? No, Star Ocean came after Tales as well. Because right, Tales was first, and then Star Ocean came. Because the people who made Tales broke off of there and created Tri-Ace, I believe. Okay, so yeah, they were probably one of the first action RPGs, which is something that at that time, yeah, there was nothing in it. You had either action or you had RPG. You never had something in between. The closest you had was what, Zelda, Link to the Past. Like that would have been the closest you had to that. So yeah, I can see that for sure. Ash, did you pick one yet?
Yeah, I did.
All right.
So this one's like a weird one, mainly because like the way it affected the way they infected journalism,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the Dark Souls series, mainly because ever since I feel like when Dark Souls 3 gained popularity,
Mm-hmm.
every journalist, like you, Kotaku and IGN, loves to call any hard looking game a Souls like game. I'm like, no, it's not. And what had me got disrespect is when they said when the Crash Insane trilogy came out, they have the audacity to call it a Souls-like platform. I mean, Crash is hard, but Crash came way before Demon Souls. So I'm just like, bro, like, have like, and because of because of that journalism, lots of people, especially the normies, love to call like any game Souls-like. I'm like, no, it's not the same damn thing. It's ridiculous. But yeah, like I
agree.
love Dark Souls.
Yeah.
I love Dark Souls with burning passion. It's just, man, I wish Dark Souls could just stayed underground, away from journalism, But
Yeah.
yeah, that's my pick.
Well,
I
so
I mean, if anything,
if it
Souls.
stayed under, you wouldn't have had Elden Ring though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right, but I'll still be fine without Elden
Right.
Ring, to be honest.
I think if anything, Dark Souls actually just brought the difficulty back to what it was back in the day.
True.
You know, like you're just making games harder.
Yeah.
like it was back then. You know,
So now they're too easy because everyone like it got to the normies, and now
Yeah.
the normies are like, "This
It's
is
mainstream.
hard." Like,
It hits me further when the normies start asking for easy mode in Elden Ring. I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah,
What more
right.
do you ask?
Yeah.
Like, come
Or like
on.
Sekiro, because Sekiro's difficulty, people were complaining of how hard it
Sekiro.
is.
Sekiro Chef's Kiss. I love that game so much.
There's actually a mod to make Elden Ring like super easy.
and I know about it, and I'm still seething about that.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
someone actually made it, dude. You can't take it back now.
Let's see. Shu says in the chat, was Legend Dragoon said, I feel like for me it was the first RPG that went voice acting and cutscenes, but I haven't played a whole lot of older RPGs aside from Final Fantasy and Breath of Fire. Yeah. I mean, I don't. Was there any other RPG at that time that had full voice acting? Like, well, it wasn't full voice acting, but had like the cutscenes fully voice acted at least. And then of course you had like the double slash and stuff like that in the fights. I don't.
I wasn't.
Yeah, it was kind of hard for the older RPGs because you could only fit so much information on a card.
Yeah.
What wasn't Xenogears voice acted the cutscenes? And wasn't that before Legend Dragon?
Yeah, they were voice
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And
how many? Like there were 4 discs, so that was like the only way they could do it.
Yeah,
What
you know?
still voice acted. Lunar 2 was another one. Lunar 2, all the cutscenes were
Xenogears
voice
were just 2
acted.
discs.
Yeah, actually, Xenogears was 2 discs. You're right.
Just 2.
Legend or Lunar
Legend of Dragoon
2
was it 2 or 3?
Was
4,
wasn't it?
Yeah, Legend Dragon was 4. Yeah, because I remember you had like Dart on one, you had Rose on another one, you had the
It really did. Final Fantasy VII though.
Yeah.
It really did. Not that it's a bad game. They really did.
But like Lunar 2 was another one. I don't know which was first, maybe Legend Dragoon, but Lunar 2 also had fully voice acted. Actually, the game itself was also voice acted as well as the cutscenes, the anime cutscenes. And that was, I think, 4 discs as well. Might have been a little bit more. I don't know. Has anybody here played Lunar 2? Yeah, I love that game. Like to this day, I still replay. It's amazing RPG. If you haven't played Lunar 2 or Lunar 1, highly recommend replaying it. Lunar 1, you can play. There's a PSP remake, and there's a GBA remake. Either of those would be fine. Lunar 2 is only on the PS1. There is a Sega Saturn version, but I think the PS1 version is better. But yeah, that had fully animated cutscenes. They are expensive, but you know, we all know about the One Piece and King of the Pirates and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I highly recommend Lunar 2. That is another special game. A friend of mine let me borrow it, and it came with like a bunch of stuff, and like I love that game with like amazing game. Yeah. Anyways, all right, my pick. Can anybody guess what I'm gonna pick?
Oh wait, no, I think I know. Is it a Dragon Quest game?
Yeah. See, Ash knows me already.
Yeah, I already know you too well.
I gotta go with Dragon Quest 1, basically. Like 1, I was gonna say 1 and 3, but 1. Like without Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy would not exist. Dragon Quest predates that. Predates even Zelda, and like you had to give props to where props is due. Hey, Montanes 1998, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. Yeah, Dragon Quest 1, like what predates as Ultima, right? They liked Ultima, they played that, and then they just basically made an RPG for NES. And when you play it today, it feels very basic in nature, but you can see the foundation of so many game series. For example, like what would become Zelda is you have an exploration of a world, you can kind of move around. And then what would become known as RPGs with random encounters and stuff like that, you have where you kind of go ahead and you're in a fight. And at that time, it was just one-on-one battles, but it's turn-based, which is funny because nowadays you're like, I'm just fighting one person and I'm taking turns. He's hitting me, I'm hitting them. It's not like, I have a party and they have a party or anything like that. But like it was the first of its kind, and it's very amazing. Then you go to Dragon Quest 3, which is a huge leap where they add in, different job classes, different party members. You have a more full-blown story. You have different explorations. It has a twist at the end where it's the first Dragon Quest and the first game that I can think of to have a twist where you think you beat the game and they're like, oh, wait a minute, there's more. Something that A Link to the Past kind of, not stole, but kind of took later on, where it's like, oh, you beat Light World, and guess what? There's a Dark World. It does something similar to that, and Dragon Quest 3 kind of inspired like RPGs moving forward, which is why they're remaking it, because it's a very crucial RPG. And it kind of sucks. Like, I really hate that like Dragon Quest is not as popular over here. But like it has everything going for it. It has Toriyama, right? So Toriyama does the artwork, the monsters design, all of that. The music, I get it. It's not an Uematsu soundtrack, but the music is nice for like classic orchestrated music. Because what was his name? Is it Sugiyama or something like that? I forgot how his name is. What his name is, but he was a very fan of like classic orchestra. So all the soundtrack sounds very classical, and some of his tracks are pretty good. And then, of course, you have Yuji Horii, who does the game and storytelling. And while it might be very cliche, very anime-ish, he kind of said it that Dragon Quest is supposed to be a fantasy, right? A fairy tale. And when he designs a Dragon Quest game, he wants it to sound like a fairy tale where you might know what's going to happen, but it's the way how he makes it happen that's all the love and joy of a Dragon Quest game. So, like, I have to pick Dragon Quest. I think credit where credit's due. Dragon Quest 3 predates, Dragon Quest, or I'm sorry, I believe Final Fantasy 1, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong with my timeline, but I believe it predates even Final Fantasy 1. And that's when Final Fantasy 1 came in and had the job classes and so forth kind of move over. But yeah, I have to say Dragon Quest is definitely the one to go. Are you saying the Netflix Dragon Quest show was good? Yeah. That's based off of Dragon Quest 5, which is my favorite Dragon Quest. Has everybody here played a Dragon Quest game from start to finish?
Yeah, I want 1 through 3.
1, 2, 3? Okay.
Yep.
What about you, Geek?
11. I
Oh.
had them, but I just didn't play them.
Okay.
Then I played and finished 11. I'm about to do S soon. I want that to be on the archives as well.
What about you, Mike and Fan?
Yeah, I played a few of them. I
Mm-hmm.
played the DS ones, and then I think it's the Cursed Kingdom. It's like 7 or 8.
Cursed Kingdom. Oh, that's 8.
And then
Yeah.
yeah, and then I played. Yeah, I played a few. Then I played 9, and then the newest one's 11, right?
Yeah, the newest one's
Yeah.
11.
Yeah.
I only
Oh yeah.
I only partially played through 8 and partially played through 11.
Mm-hmm. So you're missing out on the best one, which is 5, which is what the Netflix shows is based off of. And 5 is like, to me, like, so I first played 5 in 2019, and it was when my son was born. My youngest son was born, and it was like I was trying, I couldn't play games as much. I was really into Monster Hunter World at that time, and of course I would have to hold him, and I can't hold him and play Monster Hunter World at the same time because that's impossible. So I was like, I want a game to play while I'm holding him and trying to rock him to sleep and stuff like that. So I went and purchased Dragon Quest V on my phone. I was like, oh, this is easy. I can play it one-handed. And I think Ash might remember because I was, always talking to Ash about Dragon Quest, which I remember I got you into getting Dragon Quest. I think 2 was the first one you bought on your iPad. Was it 1?
was 1,
Okay.
Yeah, it was 1, and then I went on to 2, and so far I think 2 was my favorite because how you like reran it with all your cousins with the
Yeah.
and stuff. Once you read out all of them, the OST for like the overview map like just changes. I'm like, oh, I love that. I feel so heroic and stuff. So
Yep.
my only gripe with the iOS versions is that there's still no control support. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the hell? What the hell, bro?
That- that is a downside to that, but like Dragon Quest 5, like I would play like just one-handed. We'll go through it, and like it was just it just felt great like playing. I was like, man, this is kind of cool, and I like the progression. You start off as a little kid, and then you grow up into like a teenager, and then you're a full-grown adult with a wife and kids. And it's a game where you're literally saving the world, but as a family. And of course, you have monsters that you capture, which is kind of inspired the Dragon Quest monster series and as well as Pokemon, because each of those monsters you would capture them, they add to your party, and then you could utilize them in your party, which is pretty cool. But there's also a big twist in that game that I don't want to spoil it for anybody that wants to try out Dragon Quest 5. But there's a huge twist at the end, and you're like, wow, this is like, till this day, nobody has done this twist in a game at all. And I'll just leave it at that. But I highly recommend Dragon Quest 5. It's available on DS, so if you want to like find it on DS or like emulate it or anything like that, you can do it that way. Or you can buy the mobile version where it is the DS game, and they just put it in one screen. So like you can tell it's a DS game because sometimes in the middle it doesn't always line up, and they just are basically emulating on your phone. What's up, Pixel? Welcome to the podcast. Montana says Dragon Warrior, basically Dragon Quest is 50 years old. Yep. Dragon Quest is very, very old. And yeah, Dragon Warrior was the name in the US in the beginning.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, because there was, I believe, a board game or something like that called Dragon Quest. So they couldn't use the name Dragon Quest until 7, maybe 8. One of them. It was either 7 or 8. That's when they finally were able to change it to Dragon Quest. But yeah, 8's also a good one. 7 is actually one that a lot of people don't like as much, but I like it because for those of you who know, Yuji Horii also helped work on Chrono Trigger, and you can see like he kind of put some of the concepts he had for Chrono Trigger in Final Fantasy in Dragon Quest 7 as well. And there's a lot of like time traveling and stuff like that in that. And the way he does it is really, really done well. A lot of people hate like time traveling stuff because sometimes they don't do the mechanics correctly. But the way this is done, it's actually very, very well done. The only downside,
Mass for Relay. I love Chrono Trigger. They did a Mass for it. I love it so much.
yeah, I mean it was all the greats that did it. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't change the wheel for me. Unfortunately, like most of the ones we've been talking about today.
I agree.
That's my favorite one.
I think it's funny, like how you say, it doesn't change the wheel of RPGs, but it did something special, and that's why everybody loves Chrono Trigger. And till this day, I don't think, outside of Sea of Stars, nobody else has kind of recreated that.
I was waiting this. I was gonna say Chrono Trigger at first. I just put tape over the original poster.
Nice.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
I still have my original, which I have her.
Hey,
sitting there waiting.
Nice.
I used to have the DS one, but over time.
Nice. So the first time I tried out Chrono Trigger was with the collection on PS1 that came with Final Fantasy IV, I think it was. Yeah, a friend of mine's had it.
The Goku one.
Yeah. Yeah, with Goku as the main character. Yep.
I was Goku with red hair.
Yep, that's all it is. That's Toriyama. Almost of Toriyama's characters. They all look alike. You got Goku, you have Bulma in the party. You have 2 Bulmas in the party.
Yeah.
You got both Luke. What's up?
Remember when you showed me? I don't know which Dragon Quest game this was, but there was like a sort of limit break that they use like to power up, and like I think the main character had like Super Saiyan Rose like hair. Remember?
Yes, that? Dragon Quest 8. So the
that blew me away. I didn't know that already originated from one of the games already. So I'm assuming from that time they probably just when Dragon Ball Super came out with the Goku Blackhawk, I'm pretty sure they took that form literally from that game. Yeah, I'm positive.
Because the main character, so for anybody who hasn't played Dragon Quest 8, in the PS2 version specifically, because I believe they took that out on the 3DS version, when you get not Pep Up, what was it called in 7 or in 8? I forgot what it was, because Pep Up is the 11 term. Shoot, I forgot what it's called. It's not Trance, because Trance is Final Fantasy 9. Well, whatever. When you get like this powered up mode, I think it's called Psyched Up. You basically, your main character like powers up, and his bandana that he wears just falls off, and his hair is literally just Super Saiyan Rose. And it's super cool. And then you have like all these different moves you can do, and then of course your attack is double and all that stuff. So pretty cool stuff. Montana says Chrono Trigger needs a remaster. Yeah.
Nah, I don't think it does.
In HD 2D graphics.
Remake. You had an HD remake.
I think it's perfect the way it is. It's one of those things you shouldn't touch. The graphics are perfect. You don't even need HD 2D.
Yeah, the game is fine with other HD 2D stuff. Singles are Dragon Quest 3 actually. I know they're coming out with HD 2D for Dragon Quest 3, but I feel like it's good without
it. Please no HD 2D for it.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I don't know.
I really don't want to see that to it. I know a lot of people want to see that. Please,
ever since Octopath Traveler, everybody wanted that. And the thing is, I haven't played that game yet. Heard it was cool, but
I like the graphics, but for me to not on everything.
Yeah.
If they were to, I would like to see them remake it. If they were to remake it, I would like to see it like that PS4 Secret of Mana or the Trials of Mana that came out, where it looked more anime in the HD 2D, or 2D HD. It just like Chrono Trigger's already did that. That was cutting edge in '95.
Yeah.
I'm not, doo-dooing on the HD 2D. I'm just saying
It's
Can
just
we
it's
get an
not
upgrade
it's not
years later?
necessary.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna remake it like, remake it.
We'll do like
Yeah.
a Final Fantasy VII remake, change the whole story too. No, I wouldn't.
I
Like,
don't really have to because there's so many endings. But
yeah,
Yeah, already, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's like a dozen plus endings, right?
Isn't there
I-
like 10 endings?
nine, I think.
yeah, you can go straight to the
Yeah,
end and the
nine.
beginning of the game. One of the first games I
Yeah,
can think to do
that
that.
was the funniest ending I ever seen in my life. By the way, I'm
Yep.
not gonna spoil that one, but like if people want to play, I'm not gonna say it. It's to me it was the funniest one.
But I don't know, like HD 2D if done well. Like I know Octopath Traveler 1. I mean, I think Octopath Traveler 2 looks better than 1 for sure. Like they mastered HD 2D. Now some people are also getting tired because like Triangle Strategy kind of did it too, and people were like, like I don't know about that. There was another game that I think did it, and they were not feeling it. But I mean, when you look at the Dragon Quest 3 remake with this HD 2D, it looks like they're doing a little bit more than just an Octopath Traveler like clone. They even changed the way the battle looks. Like it looks more like Golden Sun, where you can see the characters back and they're like at an angle, which I thought was pretty cool. So I wouldn't mind an HD 2D or better lighting. Oh yeah, Star Ocean. And Star Ocean looks even better, and that is not the HD 2D engine. That's a totally different engine. But that does look really, really good too. Star Ocean 2. I can't wait for that. That's actually the backdrop for the podcast there. That's actually what I have back there. I can't wait for that. That anime opening kind of sucks though. No offense. It was it was just a bunch of still images. I'm like, man, what has anime? Yeah, so what has anime turned into? I hate with a passion. Like I was watching Haiku, and I love Haiku. It was good, but then you get to like the last season that premiered, and the animation is now instead of the dude running and going to hit the ball, it's just him standing in place, sliding across the screen, and the ball like falling on his hand. I'm like, no, man, like
that's disgusting. Jesus Christ.
yeah.
That's horrible.
That's the issue I'm having with Rurouni Kenshin remake right now. I'm only on the 4th or 5th episode, but it's like the first 3 episodes, Kenshin does the same move over and over again. I was
You
like,
already
this is
have the remake for Rurouni Kenshin?
yeah. I was like, he does the same thing over and over. All he does, like the guy goes to hit him, he disappears, and then he comes from the top. I'm like, really?
That's what happens when you don't pay animators, bro.
Like there's a scene that was so like iconic, and Mike might remember this, or anybody who's watched Rurouni Kenshin might remember this. And I don't think they did. I don't remember seeing this, but I don't think the remake did it. But like, he's talking, and then a dude runs at him, and he hits him with the hilt of the sword and knocks him to the ceiling. And he's like, "I wasn't finished talking." I'm like, that scene was like so amazing, and that I don't remember seeing that in the remake. I was like, dude, like, what the heck is going on? That was like the coolest part, to show that he wasn't playing games. But anyways, we're not an anime podcast, even though we talk about from anime time to time. But yeah, that's my pick for most influential, I'll say, RPGs. Let's see. Shu says, I mean, doesn't Kenshin only know like 3 or 4 moves at this time? What?
Outside the man.
He's about to, yeah.
Bro, like, what he's talking about?
No.
Like, he's literally
slander.
any person in Japan, bro. Like,
he does not.
At this point, right?
Yeah, remember everybody fears him because he was he was so young and he was killing everybody. Like nobody could kill him. Remember, this is after the original Samurai X. So Samurai X, which is his backstory, his origin story, shows him as a teenager and how he became the manslayer, and then how he had a change of heart and started trying to redeem himself. And then Rurouni Kenshin is the redeemed Kenshin kind of going through. So
that's why he had the reverse blade.
Yep. The only move he doesn't have is the final technique, or the secret technique of the Hitsin Mitsurugi, which he learns towards the middle of Rurouni Kenshin. And that's the only move he doesn't have, and he learns that later on when he before he fights Shishio. Yeah. I mean, I'm SS Kenshin, so like, anything Kenshin wise, like I know, yeah. I am Kenshin, the Batosai.
yo, Martinez. There's if you use Reddit, there's a lot of ways to get Chrono Trigger that's not $400 or $500. And there's a lot of links out there that'll let you play the game for free $99. So,
or just go on Steam and pay like the $10 for it. It's on Steam.
Don't do the Steam. Don't do them like that. Not the first time. Steam one. Steam was not good.
Steam takes 30% anyway, bro. You're better off emulating it. Like,
I mean,
They've
I
changed
didn't.
some of the dialogue too. Like Frog doesn't sound like Frog a lot of times.
Isn't the Steam one just a DS one though?
I don't think so, man.
I don't know how they clunked it
Oh.
up. I don't know how you.
To begin with, they already puts like so many unnecessary things for the PC port. For
Yeah.
example, they actually added ultra wide support for the game.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I know the iOS and Android version was the DS port. Like, because I remember playing it. I know they did an update, which they also did the update with Steam, and I did not like that because they had took off the pixelated graphics and did that smooth filter, and it made the
Yeah.
game look worse. But I
really?
think, yeah, but I think they
beat the game
reverted
right
it.
before the update then. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think they reverted it because I opened it up the other day and that wasn't there. But yeah, there's plenty of ways. Like, if you have a tablet, you can play it with a controller on a tablet. It's literally the DS version. It has the extra ending that kind of ties into Chrono Cross and stuff like that.
Or
or you can do
Hey,
well,
I hate
Mike
that-
said
I
this.
hate that
easiest
Chrono
way-
Cross is be his own game.
Listen, I only support piracy if there's no way for you to buy the game. So already you can get it on your mobile
so he-
phones and on Steam.
So I am 100% with you, but it is a very good way to preview a game. And if it's hot garbage, then I won't buy it. And if it is good, I will purchase it. And none of the original people who worked on the game, if you buy it right now, will get any money from it. So I'm 100% okay with pirating it.
I hear you.
Fair enough.
I mean, there's got to be a statute of limitations, right? For
Statute of
limitations.
limitations.
I'm just saying, or after so many years, like,
And for video game preservation, you're probably better off just having that on a hard drive because 20 years from
Yep.
now, who knows where that's going to be? We already know what's happening with video game preservation. We got the Geek Show back there holding it down with video game preservation. With looks like a bunch of Switch games and stuff.
Oh, I got a whole wall. I got a whole
Yeah.
wall of games. So
That's while you guys do video games, I'll do my Amiibo preservation right here. So
Amiibo preservation. I remember when Amiibo was more like the craze. People were like doing vlogs on buying Amiibos and stuff. That was ridiculous.
Hey, I still have I have this collection there. I only get the ones that I like, which is Fire Emblem, because I'm a diehard Fire Emblem fan. So I have all of them. I have, of course, Pyra and Mithra, because I love Xenoblade, and of course my Zelda Amiibos, and I think that's it really. Oh, and anything Metroid, because I love Metroid too. Shout out to Metroid, one of the best games ever made.
Kazuya and the Sephiroth amiibos.
Oh, nice. This is my favorite. One of my favorite amiibos is this guy. Yeah.
I fight for my
that
friends.
nice?
Stop collecting them. I didn't want to fight.
Yeah.
I didn't want to fight to try to get them. Seriously.
I
Some
hear
of
ya.
them, like,
Yeah,
didn't want to have to do it. It got to
feel
the
you on
point
that
like they only sprinkled just so many. I know that they made the
Yeah.
market, but I got like 30 of them or something like that. And I
Mhm.
even went back and collected the Animal Crossing ones when Stop was just like giving them away for like $2 or something.
Yeah.
Just became like, because I collected all the Disney Infinity at one time. I had
Oh,
all
yeah.
of those too. And then I look up and what Disney does, and they don't have ESPN out here right now. Disney just decided that they don't want it no more. And I'm sitting here with hundreds of dollars of Disney Infinities. Because I'm like, oh, it's gonna take off, because like, how could it not? It's Marvel and it's
Star Wars,
Disney and Star Wars,
Pixar, and
Pixar, like people bought it.
Yeah. I had it too. I had the Marvel and the Star Wars ones because I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And yeah, you saw what happened. Like, I think a year after I bought it, I was like, man, I should have never bought it.
Well, they tried to bring Spyro back too, didn't they? Like in the same way, like Skylanders.
Yeah.
or
Well,
something?
Skylanders was huge
they
though.
tried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They even
I
had
didn't
the
know it was that
Donkey
huge.
Kong and Bowser crossover with Skylanders too. Yeah.
Like, I used to be a supervisor at Toys R Us, and they loved it.
Yeah.
Kids loved it. Skylanders especially.
Mm-hmm.
They used to come in droves there and just wait. Parents used to wait for actually Spyro. When like a limited edition Spyro came in, he was a rare one too.
Yeah. Yeah, the limited edition one was like the OG Spyro, right? It looked like OG Spyro. Yeah, I remember that because I was working at Best Buy and people would always look for that. Oh man. But real quick, let's go through real quick. What's an RPG that you feel is very memorable and did something different, but is not seen as like industry changing? Let's start with you, Geek.
Did something different, but that's not considered as a
Industry
low-key.
changer. Yeah.
industry changer. I have to say Xenogears.
Mhm.
I think that the combat system from Xenogears and also the gears in itself, it felt like it was anime cutscenes in it too. When 1998 didn't have a lot of anime cutscene games like that. A lot of dialogue, but just the story that they did, it was very adult too, which also was different from that type of game during the PS1 era and coming out of the Super Nintendo era. And again, I think I mentioned that before. The perspective, the way when you go into the hangar.
Yeah.
What was the name of their ship? I can't remember the name of the ship.
I don't remember. I actually Xenogears. I've only known about it. I've never played it.
It's
Yeah.
it's a really good game. It's a really good. I suggest playing the Xenogears if you ever can.
Yeah.
Like in methods we've already,
I have it on my Steam Deck already.
That's where I support fighters. That's where I support fighters right
Yeah.
there.
Because you can't
even
get
get
it.
it.
I bought it it got stolen from me, and I rebought it like 10 years ago, like $100. So I don't know how much it is now.
Damn. Oh.
The white
way more than $100, that's for sure.
Oh, it's worth it though. It's a great game. It was supposed to be what many of you already know. It's supposed to be when all the companies and everything's together. I was supposed to be number 5 in the series of 6 of the Xeno games, and then it just everybody went from the teams went their own ways, and now we have other entities of Blades and Sagas, which I would like to see some Saga again too. But for me, it would be Xenogears.
Good pick. What about you, Mike?
Guys of Arcadia, bro.
Yeah. Good.
Bro, it was so good. Story so great. Ship combat, ground combat, like great characters, good twist. You know what I mean? Like it was just like it was such a good game, and I feel like nobody even recognizes that game.
I would agree with you. I feel like it doesn't get the love it deserves, especially from Sega.
That needs a remake, bro, for sure. That game I would be cool with like a remake, because if you did it in modern graphics with the ship combat and everything, I'd be dope, bro.
What about you, Ash?
For me, it's actually Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne.
Is that the third one? That's
third one.
Okay.
Yeah, the third installment of the series, and that's actually like my first game into like the entire umbrella of the Megami Tensei universe, because technically when Persona 1 came out, it was actually titled Shin Megami Tensei, then Persona 1 Revelations and stuff. But that's besides the point. The reason why I say Nocturne was mainly because it's the way it upped the difficulty by just changing a couple of mechanics. So, like for example, you know how in turn-based RPGs, when you miss your target, you're like, okay, it's whatever. You're not worrying too much. You'll get him next time. But in Nocturne, right, if you miss like even once, you automatically like lose like 2 to 3 turns already, which could be bad for you, because like it could that could be that one mistake could be like the entire turning table for the entire battle, especially if it's like one of those long boss battles that you need to do in order for you to progress through the story. And it's not just that too. The entire settings and environment is like really ominous, scary and spooky like as well, which I feel like that'll resonate a lot with a lot of people if they prefer to be a main character that's like already isolated as it is in that game. Characters are like B- at best. They're not really like the total highlight of the game itself. I feel like the difficulty, the environment, and the amount of strategy and what you can like do in that game is for me is game changing. Unfortunately, it's not still being recognized as much, despite the fact that the HD remaster got re-released. It's still not going to be recognized as well compared to other games, especially with Persona out right now. So
yeah. So Shin Megami Tensei 3 with Dante, featuring Dante. Yes.
So technically, with that one, that particular version, that's called the Maniacs Edition. When sorry, going on with a bit of a tangent, but when Nocturne came out, there was actually 2 versions of the game. So Maniacs, which is the Western version that featured Dante in the game, and then the Chronicle Edition, which actually featured another character which I think his name is Raido Kuzuno or something like that. So he actually came from like another spinoff Shin Megami Tensei game, and they just randomly put it in there. And luckily, in the HD remaster, you get to have both of those characters in the game.
Interesting.
So yeah, a cool little tidbit right there. So,
what about you, Fan?
I mean, the one game that I like a lot growing up was Final Fantasy VI, but that's because or Final Fantasy 3 here in the U.S. is what it was called, but Final Fantasy 6 overseas in Japan. Because
But what was
they did-
memorable that you feel like doesn't get recognition? Because 6 is like everybody. The argument's always that 6 is one of the best Final Fantasies.
I don't
It's
know
pretty
about
well
like
done.
what. Yeah, I would probably say 4 then,
Okay.
because 4 paved way for 6.
Yeah, I love 4.
Um,
4 is actually one of my favorites.
Yeah, because 4 started the new turn-based action.
The ATB.
Where 6 built on that, and 5 went back to like the old
Old style.
class job class. But yeah, I would probably say take 4. I got to replay it because they got the remakes and stuff out now again. So
Yeah.
I'd like to play the 3D remakes just to see how it compares up to the old
Oh, the
SNES versions.
Oh, the 3D. You talking about like the pixel remaster or the 3D, the full
The 3D remake, the full 3D remake.
Oh, those are amazing. I played that one. They
Yeah.
have Yuri Lofo does they pronounce it Cecil. It's not Cecile, it's Cecil's voice. And yeah, they have a good voice cast. What's his name? The voice actor of Gata does what's his name? Kane's voice. What's his name? Shoot, he does also the book from Nier. He does a lot of like anime characters. Not for Liam something. Or is it Liam? Yeah, Liam O'Brien. I think is his name. Does that sound like a name? No, nobody knows the voice actor.
I mean, you can say any
No.
names; it'll sound like a name.
I think that's his name. Yeah, he's a voice actor of Gata, though. You know, if you hear his voice, you're like, oh yeah, I know that guy's voice. I've seen him in other anime.
Oh
yeah,
I know who
Liam
this guy
O'Brien.
is.
Yeah, Shu says Liam O'Brien. All right, cool.
Okay,
I
I know
thought
who this guy is.
I was like, these people are making me look crazy, Shu. I'm like, man, am I the only one that like that knows this? Like, am I making up names now? All right, for
No,
me,
I know him from something different.
For me, it's a game that I don't feel is recognized enough, and I think it did something very special. And when people hear episodic, they tend to think Tales, but when I hear episodic, I think this, and that is the Dahak series. The Dahak
agree.
series
I like
was
it.
very amazing. I loved it, and they came out in episodes. You had episode 1, 2, and 3, 4 in the original Dahak series, and then there's GU, which had episode 1, 2, and 3. But the way they tied that world was amazing. You had an anime prequel called Dahak Signs. At the end of that anime starts the game, which is Dahak Infection, which was the first one. And in that game, there was also an anime inside there. So you watch the anime, and it covers what's happening inside the real world. When you play the game, it's covering what's happening inside the game. So with each game, you got an anime with it, and you go back and forth to kind of see everything that's going on. And it wraps up amazing. And each episode, like you had like part 1, it was a full game, so about like 30 hours or so. You end it, you had a level cap. I think like it was like 35 or something that was a level cap. And then when you you buy episode 2, you go ahead and you start it in the game. It carries over your data on the memory card from episode 1, moves it to episode 2, you get your level, the stats, your items, everything, and then you continue the game. And when people were worried that CyberConnect was doing Final Fantasy VII Remake and making it episodic, I was like, no. Once I started seeing all the complaints, I was like, you guys literally don't know CyberConnect. They did the Dahak series, they did it episodic, and each game was a full game. It's not a Telltale's game where each game is 5 hours and that's it. No, this is like a full game. And when you move to the next game, you go on and it carried over your data, and then of course you continue with all the items, all the data, all the quests that you've completed, and so forth. But like to me, I think Dahak did something so special, and that people don't even know this game. And GU kind of made that even. They streamlined the game even more, but I still think the original Dahak series is a little bit more like, I don't know, special than GU. Part of it's probably because I haven't finished GU. Like I've tried so many times to finish it, and I just stop for whatever reason. But GU is still really good. It's really good. Yuri Lofo again is the main character. He's Haseo, and Haseo is literally just Sasuke. in every way, shape, or form. Even his final form, he literally just looks like Sasuke with red eyes and everything. So yeah, but yeah, I got the Dot Hack series. In my opinion, I think it's one. If you haven't played Dot Hack, play it. Start off with Infection. I mean, you really don't have to watch the anime to understand, but it's highly recommended because there is a lot of interaction. The characters from the game are in the anime and vice versa. The Dot Hack GU is very special. That if you play it without knowing, you can play the story and not know it, and it's fine. But if you watch the anime, play the previous games, and then you go ahead and play GU, and there's like you get like emails and stuff like that, what's happening in the real world, you can find out who the main character is because the main character is actually a character you already know. And I won't spoil it, but the character you already know. And then once like the revelation of that is like, oh snap, this is the guy I'm playing as. I did not know this. It's such a cool revelation where you find out who you're actually playing as in Dot Hack GU. But that's a little bit of a nerd moment. Sorry guys, but yeah, or geek moment rather. Yeah, a geek moment. But yeah, let's end this up with our final topic. There's Nintendo Direct rumors. Supposedly a Nintendo Direct will happen this week. And I'm in the fence to believe that because we're so close to the Tokyo Game Show, and typically Nintendo tries to do a Direct right before the Tokyo Game Show. And I want to quickly show this up on the screen real quick, but there's a rumor from, I have no clue how to say his name, Pyro, where he basically goes on, and if you look at the screen, I should have the tweets up, where he says, get ready, mute this account if you don't want to get spoiled. The first one will drop in 30 minutes. And then he goes ahead and says, let's just say fans of a certain MATLAB function will be happy with the upcoming Direct. Now, somebody else has stated that on YouTube that already the Direct is listed. It just can't be seen by normal people. But apparently, I think the Pyro guy says that he has somebody he knows works for YouTube and they can see Nintendo's listings. And this guy was accurate before. He's the one that leaked the Super Mario RPG and the Mario Wonder stuff and all that other stuff there. But the MATLAB function apparently is F0 because F0 is a MATLAB function. I have no clue what MATLAB is, so I'm not going to go into that. But the next...
I hate that programming.
Okay.
Yeah, I hate it so much. But yeah, continue.
And then the next thing he shows off is Donkey Kong, rolling. And people were like, oh, snap, it's a new Donkey Kong game. But apparently the next clue he gave, which I think he doesn't say here. Oh, it's right. Where is it? Yeah, it says you see who he is, but you never see who he's fighting. And apparently it's another Mario versus Donkey Kong game. It's not going to be another Donkey Kong Country game. The other thing is he's talking about reminder that Pac-Man 99 will be discontinued. And it looks like one of the other rumors is that the new F-Zero game that's coming out is going to be a F-Zero 99 style game, which I think would be pretty cool. Like F-Zero against 99 other people's would be pretty cool. And then, of course, he says there are remakes of a DS game and a Wii game coming out. So what do you guys think about this? Do you think this is legit? Do you think that it'll be a Direct and the stuff he's saying is true, or you think it's all nonsense? Let's start with you, Mike.
Don't they announce Directs a week prior?
No, they typically announce it on a Monday. And then it's that same week.
I mean, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Dude's credible for now. He's not really giving a lot of information out.
Yeah.
So he's just kind of playing with people. So I think it's either he's doing it. He might be doing it for clout. I don't know. But a lot of these Nintendo leaks always end up coming real.
I know.
I'm half tempted to be he's onto something.
Yeah. There was another thing that I did forget to mention. Somebody else did mention that Square Enix will be showing off a game that was previously leaked at this Direct. So some people are speculating it's either Final Fantasy IX remake or remaster, or the Final Fantasy Tactics remaster that they're doing as well. So I'm hyped if it's either one of those. I can deal with Final Fantasy IX or Final Fantasy Tactics remaster. But yeah, what about the rest of you? What do you guys think about this rumor?
I've learned to just not get too excited or anything about rumors nowadays. Just if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I'm not disappointed.
I just feel I feel like Nintendo always gets leaked. like when it comes to like directs and stuff. Everyone knows like a week prior
Yeah,
that they're gonna announce it. So I'm leaning on like proof. I'm a believe it. We'll see.
same here. Same here. Ash and Geek.
So, honestly, I'm like on the same boat as Mike. I'm like, it's probably true, and if it's not, then it is what it is. I'm not gonna like get too hyped for the direct per se because there could be things that could be wrong to begin with. But I can do say that I do like the fact that the way he referenced F-Zero through a MATLAB function. That's funny to me. So
Nice. Any
Well,
thoughts?
I agree with you guys. I'm kind of like, I'm like that with all the directs though. I'm like, that's why I was so hyped when Mario RPG dropped last one. I try to go in with Marty. My backlog is stupid already, so I got to buy more games. So let me just see. We're still waiting on anything Metroid. So I mean, anything.
Yeah,
So
just
I
watch
don't
those
know.
Shadow Drop Metroid Prime 2 and 3.
Yeah.
oh man, that would
Just
be
like they did
great.
with Metroid Prime, those Shadow Drops, just like out of nowhere.
Exactly. Please do that.
I will get it. I will get it day one. There's also like somebody was saying that apparently the DS remake they're talking about was actually Metroid Prime Hunters. So
Ooh, that'd be.
I mean, if
that'd
they
be a good
do
one
it
to
well
remake.
to where it can actually be like online gameplay and stuff like that, that would be
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
exactly. That'd be nice.
that's
That'd be
right. I
cool.
forgot it had a multiplayer in Metroid Prime
It did.
Hunters. I forgot
Yeah.
about that.
I remember this like vividly, maybe because I had a friend back in like
Mhm.
elementary school that like used to rave about Prime Hunters multiplayer like a lot, like
Yeah.
every day. So
Yeah, I
I
remember I was in high school and people would bring in their DS with Metroid Prime Hunters and play in there, and I never had the game, so I was always the one that never got to play. Montanez says September always has a direct, but my expectations are low. I don't know. I mean, I think Nintendo's still they're smart. The guy in charge, he's very business orientated, so I think he knows when to pull his cards, and he probably sees that the rumors of the new Nintendo Switch are getting like hyped, so people are kind of like pushing back on the Switch, and he's like, you know what, I gotta have some people still hyped for the Nintendo Switch right now. So he's gonna come out with this direct and probably be like, bam, here's Metro Prime 2, 3, here's everything you ever wanted from the Nintendo Switch or something like that. What's up, David? Welcome to the podcast.
There's Xenoblade X.
Oh, don't
Yeah.
get me started on that.
That's what
Like
I've
I've
been
said
waiting
this.
for. I mean, this
I'm so confused on why they didn't report that to the Switch. I'm so
It's-
confused about that.
So hot take, but it's my favorite Xenoblade game. I love that game.
Xenoblade.
Yeah,
Let's say it's my number 2.
what's your number
It's
one?
my 2. I really enjoyed 3.
3? I haven't played 3 yet, so I can't.
I haven't played 3 yet either, but so far it's still one for me.
Yeah. I mean, X to me is just amazing game. Like in the cliffhanger ending is what got me. Like all the little like tidbits of like there's so much you go through the story and you're like, what? What's this? Oh wait, what? What's this? There's so many like twists inside that game that got me. They're not only that, the world. The world is amazing. The depth of the world. I think I argued this. We talked about this a while back. I still think to this day it's one of the big. Well, Tears of the Kingdom beat it, but it's in terms of depth, in terms of like height and everything, it was the biggest open world game in dimensions on the vertical axis. But now I think Tears of the Kingdom beat it because you go pretty high and you go pretty low too. So
you're right. You're right about that.
yeah. Oh man, let's see. Montana says Super Mario RPG remake was all in. I'm excited for that. Super Mario RPG is definitely going to be the game I pick up in November, and I will play through that for sure. But yeah, that is all that we have for the podcast today. I appreciate everybody who joined and watched it. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are trying to hit 500 subscribers on YouTube. We're at 414, so every subscribe counts. We really do appreciate it. If you like what we do, definitely share it. Every Sunday, we're here doing the podcast. I'm always here with Ash, with Mike, with Fan, and we try to have a random encounter every now and then. Hopefully more random encounters. I'm trying to reach out to people to see if they're willing to be on the podcast and discuss video games, because this is what we like: video games, whatever topics hot there, and so forth. Let's go ahead and start with the outros. Geek, where can they find you at?
You can find me basically everywhere on the YouTube. I'm on the YouTube, like on the YouTube channel. You can find me on YouTube under the Geek Show, as well as Twitch, Instagram. I have memes up. That's all it is. Monday through Friday. I try to do on the weekends when I remember. I don't do Facebook anymore, and it's X. Even though I still call it Twitter, under the Geek Show, you can find me everywhere.
And don't forget to watch his archives video. Amazing. I'm gonna shout that out every day because like archives is amazing. Look, if you haven't already, watch his archive stuff. Make sure you subscribe to him on YouTube and follow him on Twitch as well. And we're gonna do that collab on Wednesday and play some Smash, or
I get beat up. I just got beat up on Friday.
Oh man,
on Friday. I haven't played since Sora.
Oh wow, yeah.
I'm still salty about Geno. I don't have Piranha Plant. I'm still salty. It's no way that you're gonna bring Sans in, but you just give me Geno's body. I modded my OG Switch for that because you can't do that to me. Well, they did it, but still, no. Salty.
I've been trying to recruit people to join us. So on Wednesday, if you want to play some Smash Bros, hit up, either my channel or Geek's channel. We'll be playing there and having some fun.
I'll try to pull up on you.
That's what I'm talking about, Ash. You got to be there because I was speaking big about you. I was talking about how you're my rival here. That I still have yet to have my comeback on you from years ago. Oh man, but Ash, where can I catch you at?
You can catch me at Ash Destroyer on YouTube. I do destroy people, and then especially Smash, and then on Twitter, same handle. Twitch. I mean, I'm thinking about streaming on Twitch, but YouTube's primarily my home anyway, so I'm gonna stick with YouTube for now. But yeah, that's about it for me.
Yep, the Ace Attorney master here. It's funny. My son downloaded Ace Attorney because he was watching some of your older videos. He's like, "Oh, I want to try this game. See what it's about."
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That warms my heart. Some people do ask me about like the latest news of Ace Attorney, especially of the new Apollo Justice trilogy coming out next year, and I'm just like, man, I haven't uploaded anything on that franchise in a whole year.
You gotta get back to it, man. Gotta get back to it.
I'm trying to. Starting with Ghost Trick though, because your Ghost Trick needs some love too.
Fam, where can I catch you at?
You can find me on Twitch and Twitter and YouTube at Phaneckswhy.
What about you, Mike?
Right here, chilling.
And as always, you can find me, James, right here at the Random Encounter, where me and Mike do run the channel. We do YouTube videos. Pretty much we try to do twice a week. Sometimes it's just once a week. Just depends on how much time, because we unfortunately, as much as we would love YouTube to be our full-time job, we do have to make money somehow. But you can always catch us doing that. Every Sunday we have the podcast, and we do stream 3 days a week, with Friday being our group stream where we do a stream together with us two and Phaneckswhy. We'll be back on Wednesday with a Smash stream, and thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys next time.